Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here. I'm John Sneisen, and we're at the beach right now. We figured we'd put a quick report together, and something that we're seeing the beginnings of are bank runs. And we've talked a bit about what leads to bank runs in the past on our channel, but right now at Linshang Bank in China, in Hong Kong more specifically, there was an attempted bank run, which they say is a rare occurrence, but this is only the beginning, folks. John, can you go into what happened?
Well, what happened was that people started actually spreading rumors. It was a disgruntled employee that said that, you know, the whole institution was about to collapse. So people started taking out money. And from what we know, you know, with banks is that they don't have very much money on deposits for people to take. And that's why you have, you know, that's why you have all these bank runs so easily can conform into actual bankruptcy of a bank, because people want their money suddenly. Well, there's no money there to really pay out to them, and that's what happened. It was a fake rumor, you know, that was put out that the bank was, you know, about to fail. But then, of course, what happened was that they, you know, came out and people started withdrawing their money, and it actually ended up into a bank run. And they just withdrew almost all the cash.
And more specifically, police have questioned 27 people according to Zero Hedge, detained 12, and severely reprimanded 15 in the very technocratic nation of China. And I mean, this is, like I said, it's just the beginning. We're going to see this more and more. As I've often said, if your money's in the bank, it's not yours, it's the bank's. And obviously with the amount of bail-ins in legislation throughout the world and the attempts at bail-ins, which are basically them just stealing the depositor's money, with the amount of, you know, the risky debt that they get into, the risky assets they get into, the amount of investments that go wrong. There's also the whole idea of the cashless society, which is capitalized in China, where they can just, as I said, if your money's in the bank, it's not yours, it's the bank. Well, if your money's always going through the banks, through legal tender laws, through central planning, through digital transactions, and you never hold it in your hand, it's never yours, it's always the bank's, and you can't have a bank run because there aren't any reserves, period. And we are seeing the starting points of all of this in the United States. We've seen it in Canada, we're seeing it in India, we're seeing it in
Sweden is the big,
Sweden,
two big ones, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's Australia, of course. I mean, this is getting bigger and bigger and more dangerous. And of course, this is centrally planned cashless society. They've got the Aadhaar system in India, where they take retina scans, where they use fingerprinting, where they are able to use facial recognition. Yeah, and it's getting really dangerous. How long do you think, John, until obviously the fundamentals are off the table due to the level of manipulation in the monetary system and in the markets, but we know what's happening. Fiat empires always fall. They always revert to their intrinsic value of zero. So, John, how long do you think, in your opinion, it is, and be careful with this one, until it actually happens?
Well, it's for years, you know, we've been saying it could happen anytime, and it still can happen anytime, because what is happening is you have these central banks out there just constantly manipulating and putting in their printed money into the system in order to, you know, keep it alive. But the problem is that it's only going to work until a certain point, because this is a trust game, Josh. Mm-hmm. And when the trust game is broken, when people stop trusting the value of something that you issue, like the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, and so on, that's when it just completely implodes. Like Venezuela is starting to implode, and it's going to be done probably almost by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. The value of the Venezuelan bolivar is fuerte.
And of course, there's another story that we have to bring to people as soon as possible, that Trump is actually looking at military options in Venezuela, but that'll come later. We've been really busy lately, but also when central bankers, especially like the Federal Reserve, we see them trying to raise interest rates a little bit at a microscopic scale so that they can lower them after to save the economy, or push it off longer so the crash is even bigger when it does happen.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
Panicking already. That's the problem. Like we got into so much debt that now people are in complete panic just with a 0.25% rise or a 0.5% rise. That's the big problem. We're over indebted, everybody, and the system has kind of extended itself into a point where there's no return. Like everything is bankrupt, because of course people can pay back their mortgage or whatever that is, but the problem is that the money is getting devalued so fast that you have to get into more and more debt.
Absolutely, and they love debt. The government and the banking system love debt, because if they push you down that bottomless pit of debt, you're forced to ask for a ladder up from the banking system and the government, and that puts you in perfect servitude, folks. So this is exactly what they want. They have a subservient public, a fearful public, and an in-debt public, and it all comes together in the end, and it's going to be very dangerous, and we know it's going to happen. So make sure that you are self-sustainable: food, water, shelter, defense, so you're not gaining or gathering things for the toughest guy on the block, and of course sound money, so you're not out hunting, which is unrealistic for most city folks, and harvesting crops on a daily basis in order to feed your family. You're going to want something to buy off of other people, and that fiat paper is going to be worthless, and these bank runs will be they're not going to be successful because there won't be anything in the banks
of
to
course,
take.
That's what happened. That's what a bank run is. It's basically people. Of course, the first ones are lucky getting something out, but most people won't be able to, because you only have about 10%. Or here in Canada, we got a zero reserve policy, so who knows how much they even have at all in the bank.
It's building steam, and that pressure is building.
It's a massive Ponzi scheme, Josh. That's what it is. They have built a massive Ponzi scheme. You think that you have your money there, and suddenly when you try to pull it out, it's not there anymore.
Absolutely.
Well, they used it to on terrible investments to enrich themselves.
It's sickening. So folks, be prepared. And we're not saying this to fearmonger. We're saying this so that you as an individual can be the most prepared you can be. And that's always better to be overly prepared than underprepared. So thanks for going into this with us, John. And we'll be back at you with much more. Please check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We really can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially like right now, more than ever. Well, YouTube is demonetizing every single one of our videos and claiming videos on economics is hate speech and terrorism. We need your help, folks. They are drowning us.
Well,
and
I agree. It's dangerous to the system, right?
Absolutely. And they aren't demonetizing Antifa videos. They're not demonetizing CNN when they talk about eating, when they show a reporter eating a human brain. That's not controversial. But talking about pensions, talking about free markets, talking about freedom, talking about economics, the monetary system, that apparently is hate speech today, according to the Anti-Defamation League, which has taken over monetization on YouTube, which gets taxpayer money and funding from the Open Society Foundation.
Anti-Semitic, you're talking bad about Janet Yellen, Josh.
Oh yeah, of course. You can't say anything about someone like Janet Yellen, or else you must be anti-Semitic, or it's just insane, and they are really attacking us hard, guys, and we really need your help, because the only way this operation can stay alive is with the help from you guys, the help 100%. That you give us, because it comes down to the individuals as independent media to keep this machine churning and be able to continue to bring you solid information, 1 to 3 videos and every single day, to be able to bring you interviews with people like Ron Paul, Robert Kiyosaki, travel to these places, interview these incredible names. We can't do it without you. And also check our Bitcoin address in the description in the comments, as well as on the screen for you to scan, if you please. And also check out myself at Josh Sigurdson, and John at The Economic Truth at steemit.com. That's steemit.com, the future of social media, where Facebook censors you just like YouTube is doing to us right now as well, and Twitter censors you, and Instagram censors you. Now there's an option for you to get paid in cryptocurrency for your blogging and your post via the demand and upvote of your post.
Well, yeah, instead of the money going to the big corporations, to Facebook and so on, actually they pay us out to that ad revenue, right?
Absolutely. And it sucks to have to throw so much into the end of a video to tell people that they need to donate, but we can't. We really are struggling right now. We are hurting. This is going to, how does someone live on $100 a month, which is basically what they're going to bring us down to, and we need your help. Also, check out John's book, Canada, the Greatest Economy in the World, ? At Amazon.com. It's his new book. It breaks down the issues of the Canadian economy and the markets, but it also is great for those outside of Canada when it comes to learning about our monetary system and our markets, and how the fundamentals are off the table. And these are the things that you need to know about, and these are the things that you need to do to protect yourself. So thanks, John, for going into this with us. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.